Laser sights increase confidence regardless of experience level, whether you're learning the fundamentals or overcoming aging eyes. Crimson Trace, making laser sight standard equipment. Visit crimsontrace.com to find a dealer near you.
This is Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, now available on iTunes and other podcast clients, and on the free Gun Dealio smartphone app for iPhone and Android. Feel free to call Tom now at 1-TOM-TALK-GUN or 866-825-5486, or email Tom at guntalk.com. Now, once again, here's Tom.
All right, back with you. 866-TALK-GUN gets you in here, of course. That's the easy way to get in. Don't forget, we're doing this huge monster giveaway. $9,500 worth of prizes. Somebody's going to win this thing. I mean, we're talking about a new Springfield Armory EMP pistol, a Springfield Armory Saint rifle. That's their AR, their MSR. Cannon gun safe, Crimson Trace systems, 1,000 rounds of handgun ammo, 1,000 rounds of rifle ammo. It just goes on and on. It's insane. Go to guntalk.com/win, and there's a link there that tells you all the ways that you can sign up. And there are several different ways you can sign up, and each time you sign up, you get another entry. So guntalk.com/win, W-I-N. A couple of weeks ago, I told you about this breathtaking decision that came out of the U.S. Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals, ruling on Maryland's ban on modern sporting rifles. The wording in the decision is what's breathtaking about it. The wording in it is something that you read it and you just think, you guys have got to be kidding. And what they're saying about weapons of war. I mean, it goes on and on. But let me tell you what, rather than me explain it to you, let's welcome in Jay Porter. He is one of the attorneys who worked on that case, is working on the case right now. Jay, thank you for joining us here.
Tom, thank you very much for having me. I'm looking forward to our conversation about this.
All right. I teased it with the idea that saying that the wording in the decision, and this was a ban upholding the Maryland ban on what they like to call assault weapons, what we call modern sporting rifles. But it wasn't just, yes, we support this. They went way over the edge of the earth on this one in their wording. Can you explain at least a few of the things they did here which caused us so much concern?
Absolutely. Look, it's important to remember about this situation is that Maryland had banned what they called assault weapons and what they called large capacity magazines. Now, for the people listening to your show, all that means is they banned the popular common semi-automatic rifles like AR and AK platform rifles and any detachable magazine with a capacity in excess of 10 rounds. Those were banned in Maryland.
Okay.
In front of the original Court of Appeals, the three-judge panel, we actually prevailed, and we got the judges to say, by a 2-1 vote, no, you have to apply what's called strict scrutiny to the ban, which means that this ban can only survive if it's the only way to save lives, in layman's terms.
Okay.
The entire Fourth Circuit, what they call the en banc court, which is every judge in the Fourth Circuit, decided to hear the case again, and by an overwhelming majority, they made the determination that AR and AK type rifles simply are not protected by the Second Amendment in any way. They say they're outside of the Second Amendment because they are weapons of war. They are the type of firearms that are most useful in military service. And that's important for at least two reasons. The first reason is, as you know, that's false. Weapons of war, assault rifles, are fully automatic weapons. We have known that there is a critical difference between fully automatic and semi-automatic rifles, at least since the National Firearms Act in the 1930s. And that's always been the case. The second
Jay,
reason is because,
Yeah, let me ask you, because I don't want to get away from that point. There's just one other thing. We know the difference between semi-automatic and full automatic, and we know that there's a huge difference, but the court, in its I just got to say, stupidity or ignorance, at least, is maybe a kinder way to go. They said the difference, in the decision, they said the difference between semi-automatic and full automatic is, quote unquote, slight.
Right. Well, which is, of course, totally not true. I mean, as a matter of law, you would go to prison. If you had an AR-15, let's say in Alabama where they're legal, if you had an AR-15 and you converted it to fully automatic, what would happen to you, Tom? You would go to jail.
Yeah,
I don't know about
exactly.
you, but that's not a slight difference to me.
Okay, so that's point number one, is they said that these are banned because they're weapons of war. And then you were moving on to point number two.
Yeah, and point number two, which is, I apologize, but I am a lawyer, so I do have pin-headed tendencies. But point number two is that their decision absolutely is irreconcilable, as in totally flies in the face of the seminal 2008 Supreme Court decision in Heller, which I'm sure you're familiar with. I'm sure many of your listeners are familiar with. And that was the decision where Justice Scalia ruled for the court and held that you simply cannot ban firearms which are commonly kept for lawful purposes by responsible, law-abiding persons. And when you're talking about an AR-style rifle, Tom, you're talking about millions and millions and millions. In fact, you're talking about more AR-15 and AK-47 style rifles are sold in the United States every year than Ford F-150 pickup trucks.
Wow, that's pretty common. All right, so here's the question. Two things. One is they didn't ignore the Heller decision. The intent, and this is just me in here, the intent is to destroy the Heller decision. And this is just the latest of a number of lower courts who have thumbed their noses at the Supreme Court in saying, we think Heller was wrong, and we're going to do everything we can to negate it. Do you agree with that?
Well, I have to be careful because as an officer of the court, I've got to assume the best intentions of the court. So what I will say, though, in response to what you're asking me, is that I don't think what happened here was a fair application of the Heller decision. I think what happened here was they took an aside, one half of one sentence in a 60-something page opinion and used it to gut the absolute holding of Heller, which is that you can't take away the popular common firearms. The point of the Second Amendment, Tom, that Heller and McDonald, the two Supreme Court cases on this issue, and then later Caetano, the stun gun case, what they tell us is the Second Amendment reserves the choice for firearms that you will buy and keep for lawful purposes, shooting, hunting, and most importantly, self-defense in the home. That choice is reserved to the American people. The legislature can't make that decision for you, and neither can the courts. Only the Second Amendment, which preserves our natural right of self-defense.
Let me throw out a thought here, and I'm sure you guys are already on this, and that is, if the court is saying if it's a weapon of war, then it's outside of the Second Amendment. One could easily, if one understands firearms, say that all firearms evolved from weapons of war. The bolt-action rifle was the Mauser rifle of 1898. The pistols come from the 1911, pistols, on and on and on. One could say, look, the military uses semi-automatic handguns. The military uses bolt-action rifles. Those are all, quote-unquote, weapons of war. Could that not just go ahead and stretch that as far as they want to go?
Well, I guess, I think you're absolutely right. What you're getting at is there's no limiting principle. There's no end line on the logic of the court, and that's absolutely right. I mean, for example, in Maryland, you end up with the frankly absurd result that if I live in Maryland, I cannot buy an AR-15, which no military in the world uses as its standard arm. Not one. So definitively not a weapon of war. But I can have an M1 Garand, which is, of course, the Army's and Marine Corps service rifle for decades, and emphatically a weapon of war. So my question, if I'm asking the court this rhetorical question, is where are the lines? Where's the end of this? Is anything that's semi-automatic unprotected? And my concern is when you look at this decision of the court, are you telling me that any semi-automatic firearm, which is capable of being reloaded relatively quickly, and which is chambered in any chambering that is generally accepted to be lethal, are those now constitutionally suspect? And if they are, then what does the Second Amendment mean? Well, it means nothing.
So,
what it means is you only get what we let you have, and that's not what the Bill of Rights protects.
Okay, so we lost this decision at the Court of Appeals, which is the last one before you get to the Supreme Court of the United States. So where are we? Are you taking this to SCOTUS?
Oh, absolutely. I can tell you, and I've been authorized to discuss this, that the National Rifle Association has supported this case since its inception. We also have another case that is likely to be filed in the next few weeks, which challenges California's assault weapons ban. We're not going to stop. Mm-hmm. We're going to push this till we get it to the Supreme Court, and we're going to get a decision out of the Supreme Court that upholds the basic holding of Heller, which is that you just can't ban the most common firearms that people want. So yeah, we're going to go to the Supreme Court.
And one would hope that by then we have Justice Gorsuch in there, which may well be the deciding factor.
You'd have to think so, although, it's always perilous to read tea leaves. But we did have a situation recently where, a long story short, a person challenged a ban on stun guns and tasers in Massachusetts. The Massachusetts Supreme Court held that, taser guns aren't protected by the Second Amendment because they weren't around when the Second Amendment was adopted. And the Supreme Court, the entire court ruled, we're not going to rule on the stun gun ban itself. We don't have to, but we're remanding this case. In other words, you're wrong, and you got to go back and look at it again, because that can't be the logic. So they're saying the Second Amendment exists, and the Second Amendment exists the way that we said it existed in Heller, at least to some degree. So if this Fourth Circuit Court en banc is going to say, the Second Amendment just doesn't apply to the most popular civilian firearms sold today, I would like to think that would be something that the Supreme Court would want to take and would want to weigh in on and would want to do something about. And
absolutely.
That's my hope.
Jay Porter, thank you so much. Lots of luck, lots of support. If there's anything that you need from us, by all means, let us know, and just carry on. Keep that good fight. We've got to get this to the Supreme Court. We've got to win it there. 866-TALK-GUN. Get you in here. We'll be right back with more Gun Talk.
We are Aguila Ammunition. We believe that getting the most out of your firearm begins with what you put into your firearm. And that's why we only source the best raw materials to manufacture the best ammunition possible. Ammunition that's reliable and dependable, shot after shot. Ammunition that holds nothing back when it comes to performance, quality, and innovation. Yes, ammunition that your guns will downright devour. Guns are hungry. Feed them at AguilaAmmo.com.
Crimson Trace announces the revolutionary Link, the world's first wireless laser and white light system. Combining a green laser at 300 lumen light with instinctive activation for AR-type modern sporting rifles. Link offers wireless control of the laser and light from the ergonomic replacement grip, eliminating the need to reach for the rifle's forend. Link. Smart, simple, secure. Available now. Visit crimsontrace.com to find a dealer near you.
For 36 years, the U.S. Sportsmen's Alliance has been fighting to protect hunting, fishing, and trapping for sportsmen from coast to coast. Today, we are under constant attack from extremist animal rights groups who want to end your ability to hunt in the U.S. Join us to protect our sporting heritage and our way of life outdoors. To join or for more information on how you can help, go to ussportsman.org. That's ussportsman.org.
In the war on terror, fighting crime in the streets, in competition and homes around the world, one name in firearms stands out: Sig Sauer. Our pistols and rifles are renowned for their unfailing performance. This same commitment to excellence can be found in our line of SigTac accessories and the training offered by the Sig Sauer Academy. For unmatched quality, reliability, and innovation when it counts, choose Sig Sauer. Visit sigsauer.com today.
866-TALK-GUN get you in, or just dial Tom Talk Gun. This is interesting. In fact, I used to be a member. Rotary clubs are everywhere across the U.S. You go into towns, you drive in, you see signs, welcome to, East Hamerford, whatever it is, in Rotary Club. You go to hotels or some places, they'll have a sign that says Rotary Club meets here every Tuesday. I think when I was in Alaska, in Anchorage, Alaska, I think there may have been 5 different Rotary clubs in town. And so there was one that met every single day. So, and Rotary clubs are made up of business leaders, generally speaking, people who own or work at, banks, insurance companies, utilities, basically just the businesses around town. Now, Rotary is an international group. And therein lies some of the problem, because Rotary International, in their January meeting, met and issued a statement or a policy that says we need to address a lack of clarity around Rotary International's policy governing Rotary clubs, districts, and other Rotary entities when participating in activities involving guns, weapons, and other armaments, and when interacting with gun companies, including sponsorship purposes. So what they did in terms of their clarifying this is that they're going to prohibit or prevent local clubs from transferring ownership of weapons, conducting or sponsoring gun shows, accepting sponsorships from gun or weapons companies or stores. Sounds kind of like the Wounded Warrior Project. Can't use our logo. We're not going to associate with guns or shooting events. Well, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know a lot of people who belong to Rotary in the United States are big gun owners. I know some people who belong to Rotary own gun stores, and they have fundraisers that are sporting clays events, shooting events. They raffle off firearms as fundraisers for their civic projects. And I think there are going to be an awful lot of people who belong to Rotary who are going to be unhappy being told by the international bosses that, you Rotary people over the United States, you can't actually do what you're doing there. Let's go to line 3. Johnny's with us out of San Antonio. Hey, Johnny, you're on Gun Talk.
Hello, Tom. I want to talk about a red dot pistol course I took a couple of weeks ago here in San Antonio. It was taught by John Payne of Suarez International.
Okay. Now, when you say a red dot pistol class, first of all, explain what that is, okay?
It's a miniaturized reflex sight that is actually attached to a milled-out portion of your slide. So it's an integral part of your slide once it's been secured. It's most of them are battery powered. It's zero magnification, but it is a reflex sight, so there's no parallax.
Yeah, I know what a red dot sight is. What I was meant to say was, what is a red dot sight class? Are we talking about a self-defense class specifically on pistols with red dots?
Correct. It's actually, you start off with learning how to acquire the red dot by first focusing on your sight, your front sight, and all of a sudden the red dot appears in your window once you get your firearm lined up. And then we worked on shooting and moving. We actually did some shooting without the sight. We actually taped over the sights just to work on kinesthetic shooting. And then we did distance shooting. And the advantage is that you can really make good hits out at 45, 50, 100 yards with a red dot, which is much harder to do, especially with middle-aged eyes like a lot of us have. We all have that issue with focusing on the front sight. And with the red dot, you don't need to worry about that. You focus on the threat and the red dot on the target and make hits. We were making 8-inch plate hits out at 50 yards without too much difficulty.
Okay, so your takeaway on this, and this is a leading question because I kind of know where you're going to go, but when you came away from this, did you change your opinion about using a red dot on your everyday carry gun?
It's on my hip right now. That answers the question.
So. Yeah,
that answers the question. In fact, I'm carrying right now a Glock 17. I have a Glock 19 that I'm outfitting with the red dot. I'm waiting for my second red dot to come back from Trigicon. I had some issues with my second red dot, so when that gets back, it's going on the 19. It's ready to go.
Does it affect you in terms of being able to carry? You've got a little bit of bulk out there on the slide. If you're carrying IWB, I mean, are there any issues that people need to be aware of?
No, not at all. In fact, it's so small, it only adds an ounce to the gun. So these things are small. They sit up about an inch and a quarter off the top of the slide, and most holsters will accommodate it. My crossbreed Super Tuck didn't, and so I ordered one that was designed to accommodate. And they just cut the plastic back a little bit, but it's the same leather cut. But it works good. Most standard holsters, just the kind of the plastic outside the waistband holsters, will accommodate the RMR quite well. Because it sits behind the ejection port in front of your front sight, and you use suppressor height sights with this so that you can co-witness the red dot to the suppressor height sights.
Gotcha. Excellent. Well, I appreciate that. It's really a great range report on an interesting class, red dot self-defense. I appreciate that call. One of the things, if you do put on a red dot sight on your pistol and it's your self-defense gun, you need to do a lot of practice, and I'm sure that Johnny would agree with this. Unloaded gun, draw slowly and insert the gun into your vision. What I find is that at first you hold the gun up and you're wiggling the barrel around to make the red dot appear. And if you work on it and draw and insert that gun into your vision, raise it up and then it pushes straight out, and keep your eyes on the target, you will eventually, probably pretty quickly, you'll figure out what the angle is, what it feels like, how, as you say, the kinesthetic feel of when it pushes out, boom, there's the red dot. At first, it takes a little time, and you don't want to carry for self-defense until you have that figured out and you practice it and you worked on it, and the red dot appears every time. But I kind of like the idea, and I'm seeing more and more companies offering the red dot combo on their carry guns. Have you considered doing that? Would you carry a red dot sight on your carry gun?
Want your opinion to make a difference? Log on to our website and take the Gun Talk poll, www.guntalk.com. Now, once again, opinion page regular contributor for the Washington Times, here's Tom.
All right, here's a question for you. Do you travel? Do you carry a gun when you travel? Are you a concealed carry holder, or you're from a state with constitutional carry? Do you routinely carry a gun, and do you travel? If so, then you understand what I'm talking about here, where I'm going, which is we're always wondering, what are the laws there? What can I do there? Can I carry there? When I go into that state, where can I carry? We're always having to do this. Every time you cross a state line, the laws change. There's almost nothing else like that other than guns, where the laws change to the point where you're legal, and then when you take 2 steps forward, you're illegal. Didn't commit an act other than taking a step forward and crossing this imaginary but political line. Well, that's really what the whole concealed carry reciprocity issue is about. So this week, U.S. Senator John Cornyn, Republican from Texas, on Wednesday, he introduced his version of a reciprocity bill in Congress, in the Senate. The whole idea is to get rid of this patchwork, quilt-like, strange, actually dangerous system where you can break the law without meaning to break the law. You remember the name Shanine Allen, the woman who got into New Jersey, thought she was legal, had a carry permit from Pennsylvania, went to jail. It took us, you and me, raising money for her defense to get her out and raising awareness and finally getting her out of jail. Well, it's something we got to keep working on this. Tell you what, let's go to line 2. Jake's with us out of Utah. Hey, Jake, what are you carrying there?
Hey, Tom, how you doing? Thanks for having me. I am carrying right now the XDM, the XD Mod 2, 9mm. My
nice.
concern is the ammo I carry.
Okay.
It is the
What's
Federal
the deal?
Guard Dog 115 grain, and my concern is that it's too light of a bullet projectile.
Well, it's a 115 grain bullet. Looking on the Federal website, looks like about 1,230 feet per second. So it's nothing to sneeze at there. What's your concern?
I've seen reviews on good old YouTube, and the penetration and the expansion of the bullet. It's a blue-filled polymer. It's a bullet. It's considered a hollow point, but it is when you look at it. It's filled with a blue polymer and then capped off. Penetration and expansion on it is what I've seen. A lot of reviews back and forth saying that it's good, and some people saying that it's not good.
Well, as I look at the design purpose of it, the idea was we will give you a round that you can use for home defense that won't go through a lot of walls and endanger people in other places. Of course, the best way to not go through walls is to hit what you're aiming at and not be spraying bullets through walls. That's another subject altogether. There's nothing in the world wrong with 115 grain bullets in the 9mm as self-defense. How long have you been carrying this ammo?
About 2 years now. I went into a local gun shop near me, and they said that their rule of thumb and what they stand by is to carry what the cops are carrying. And they said in my area that's actually what the cops are carrying. That was a good enough reason for me.
I don't have a problem with that line of thinking. Let me ask you another question. Have you shot the ammo, number one, and number two, have you shot the ammo and tested penetration in anything?
I have not tested the penetration. I have shot about 50 rounds through it at my gun range, and I do like it. I like the way it feels. It shoots as good as my target ammo. Yeah, I have not tested penetration, though.
You know what you might want to do? I mean, and there are a lot of different ways of testing penetration. People try different things. And the problem is, nothing will give you the same kind of performance as shooting into a bad guy. But we're really not allowed to test bullets that way. So, more's the pity. Okay. But what you're really looking for is something that's consistent. That's the same every time you try it so that you can compare one bullet to another bullet. And I will tell you, it's two things. One, for consistency, and one, just for pure fun. Nothing beats 1 gallon water jugs. Just go to the store and buy 99-cent gallon water jugs, line them up, one behind the other, and shoot them. If you can get, and this is just me, everybody's going to have their own criteria, but I think if your bullet will get into the third jug, you're probably just fine. Okay.
I think it's warming up. The weather's warming up here in Utah. I think I'm going to try to get my hands on some of that honey badger that I heard last week, and I'm going to take both of them out, the Federal Guard Dog and that honey badger. I'm excited to get my hands on that and see what that does. So,
yeah, I have not shot it. I can't wait to try that. That's the Black Hills Ammunition honey badger. That's different stuff, and I would like to get a little bit more penetration than into the third jug. I would like to get into the fourth 1 gallon water jug, because you're probably looking at, I'm guessing, 6 to 8 inches through a jug. So if it's 6 inches, 3 of those gives you 18. That would be pretty good. If I could get into the fourth jug, that would make me happy in terms of penetration.
Okay.
I tell you what, if you test them, give me a call back and let me know how it goes, okay?
I absolutely will. I appreciate your time, Tom.
Thanks, Jake. I appreciate that. Hey, John, don't go anywhere. We're going to get to you. We're actually got a line open for you if you'd like to join us right now. 866-TALK-GUN. We'll be right back with more gun talk.
It's really pretty simple. Your carry gun is a life-saving device. It must be with you. That's what the Springfield Armory XDS is all about. Small enough to carry, big enough to shoot comfortably, shockingly slim, single stack, with a 3.3-inch or 4-inch barrel, available in 9, 40, or 45. Highly accurate, great trigger, fiber optic front sight for fast aimed fire. The XDS at Springfield-Armory.com. That's Springfield-Armory.com.
If you're like me, you don't have money to burn, but you still want to buy guns, ammo, and accessories. That's why we created Gun Dealio. That's a free, yes, a free smartphone app. Just download it and start getting the deals. Could be discounts, offers of free magazines for your gun, or you could be the first to hear about new stuff from gun makers. Here's how it works. With Gun Dealio on your phone, you get alerts when you enter a gun store. Special deals, you know. You don't have to do a thing. It'll do a lot of other cool things, like let you watch gun videos and listen to Gun Talk podcast. Plus, check it anytime for hundreds of deals and offers. Getting more while spending less. Smart, huh? Gun Dealio. Made in America. Gluten-free. At the App Store and Google Play or GunDealio.com.
Attacks happen every day. How will you react? See real people put into real-life criminal attack situations on First Person Defender. Discover what works and what doesn't. Kidnapping, ATM robbery, home invasion, and other attacks. Learn how to save your life and the lives of your family. Get the entire first season on DVD at ShopGunTalk.com. Get prepared. ShopGunTalk.com.
Slim, concealable, and now in .45 Auto. The Smith & Wesson M&P Shield pistol gives you all-day comfort and confidence. Its reliable performance and easy operation make the lightweight, striker-fired M&P 45 Shield pistol the perfect choice for personal protection. Power and performance you need from the brand you trust. The M&P 45 Shield pistol from Smith & Wesson. Go to smith-wesson.com. That's smith-wesson.com.
All right, back with you, 866 Talk Gun, or just dial Tom Talk Gun. Looking for your range report? If you've been shooting something, something old, something new, doesn't matter. We just like to hear about it. You know what? We just like to talk about, hey, I took something out to the range. It was so cool. This was so much fun. Or, wow, I thought this was cool 30 years ago when I bought it. And now I went out and shot it, and it's not anymore. It doesn't work as well. But yeah, it hardly ever happens. Guns just keep on working. If we keep them clean, we take care of them. Clean a gun? Oh, my heavens. What a thought. Yeah, it's fun. Actually, the cleaning part can be fun. All right, let's go up to Portland, Maine, where John's with us on line one. John, who are you going to meet?
Hi, Tom. I'm going to go to a meeting with Angus King at the university in a couple hours.
U.S. Senator.
Yes.
Okay.
And he's going to be doing a talk, I guess a Q&A, regarding Gresham nomination to the Supreme Court. And I didn't know if, I've been trying to think of if I do get a chance to ask a question, and I thought I'd bounce it off to you if you had something that might be pertinent to this.
Sure. This is a great opportunity. And it's what I say, you're not going to ask him a question, you're going to tell him a question, because what he says doesn't actually matter, his response. The only thing that matters is what you say, because what you want to do is plant the seed. And so let me try this out. I'm trying to make this up as I go. Senator, in 2008, the Supreme Court, in the Heller decision, ruled unequivocally that the Second Amendment is an individual right and that governments cannot ban firearms that are in common use. That's your statement. And then, will you ask the nominee if he will support the Heller decision? Boom. Two sentences. That's it.
Very good. I will write that down and make sure that if I get the opportunity, I will definitely ask it.
All right, I'm going to give it to you one more time just to make sure it's there, okay, if you don't mind. And that is, Senator, in 2008, the Supreme Court ruled that the Second Amendment, this is in the Heller decision, ruled that the Second Amendment is an individual right and that firearms in common use cannot be banned. Will you ask the nominee if he will support that? And all you're doing is putting that bug out there to say, we're watching, we know what the Heller decision was, We want the nominee to support what the Supreme Court has already done. And it's one of those great things. In doing so, like I say, it doesn't really matter what he says. What you've done is you planted the seed. And look, good luck with it. I hope you get a chance. And if you do, call me next week and let me know how it worked out. Let's go to line 3. Ryan is in North Dakota. Ryan, you're on Gun Talk.
Yeah, back to the guy about the red dot in the carry. How about trying to use crimson laser in the grip so you don't have anything sticking out? I don't know if they make those on other guns, but I have it on that Kimber 45 1911, and that's really nice having the laser right in the, you just squeeze the grip.
I'm with you. I love lasers on concealed carry guns, on self-defense guns. But now let me throw this thought out. I'm playing with an idea here. Ryan, what do you think? Would it be confusing to have a red dot sight on your gun and also have a laser?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but
maybe go with a green laser and a red dot on your gun. And the reason I'm saying that is there could be times when, if you're out in bright light, and particularly if you had a red laser, it may not show up. And normally we say, well, you go to your iron sights in those situations. Well, you just go to your red dot. There's a benefit here, and I appreciate the call, Ryan. It lets me talk about this for those who may not know. A red dot sight on your self-protection handgun, I can see the benefits of it. It could be really cool. It could be very helpful. It can increase your accuracy. But you might want to have a laser on also, and here's why. There could be, and very likely will be, chances are, you'll be actually unable to use your sights. You will be quite literally unable to get the gun up to where you can look over the top of it. You may have to shoot with a gun at your hip, or reaching around something, or moving sideways and shooting one-handed. Having done this, I can tell you can keep a laser on target while you're moving. You can't really use the sights because it seems like it's bouncing around, but by just holding your hand out and pointing the gun and the laser's on the target, I don't know what it is, you're able to keep it on target and you can press that trigger and bang. And we're shooting steel. It's going ding, ding, ding as I'm not talking about running wide open, but just walking fast at a pretty good clip while you're moving at a 90-degree angle to wherever the threat is, which is generally a really good idea anyway. So I'm just thinking here, might not be a bad thought to go with both. Now people go, that costs a lot of money. Yep, it does. And it's an issue. And I'm not going to tell anybody, look, you should go spend a bunch of money on anything because everybody's on a fixed budget. Nobody I know has an unlimited amount of money. Nobody. Having said that, as you look at your system, let's back up. Let's think about this as this is my life-saving system. This is my parachute, my life jacket. It's my med kit. It's my everything. This is what may allow me to stay alive, may allow me to make sure my wife, my kids are still around, may allow me to take care of my husband. Maybe dollars spent there are better spent than dollars spent other places. I don't know. I don't know how different people make that decision. When you look at spending money on your self-defense gun, have you ever said, well, this is important enough. I'm going to spend extra. I'm going to go ahead and get that gun I want. What's your process? How did you go about that? How did you arrive at this is good enough and I'm not going to spend a lot of money? Or, I'm going to spend more because I want to get what I want. I don't know that there's a right or wrong to it, but I'd like to know how you went about it. Just call me, Tom Talk Gun, on your phone. That'll get you right in. All right, back with you. Colby's in Texas, line 2, with an interesting question about some interesting ammo. Colby, what are you talking about here?
Tom, have you heard of the Liberty Defense 9mm defense rounds?
Yes, 50-grain bullets going like 2,000 feet per second, and really, really light, going very, very fast.
Yes, sir. That is what they claim. I have never personally ballistically tested it, but I do carry that, and I've been searching online, and I see that, you kind of with motors, there's no replacement for displacement, so I'm curious as your take on bullet velocity versus grain weight, and if there's a negative or positive to each other, because you're talking about a 50-grain bullet, which is substantially lighter.
Right. Going very fast. And on their website, they're saying, hey, we're getting whatever it is, 12, 16 inches of penetration in ballistic gelatin, and that's all wonderful and great, except there's always an except, right? Because every time somebody comes up with something that you think is new and different, it's been tried like 100 years ago. And there is a reason that one of those, when everybody likes ammo that's in a certain range, 115 to 128 to 145 grain in 9mm, why is that? Well, I would say two things. One is look at your handgun ammo and see if it has passed the FBI's test for handgun ammo. And that is they do barrier penetration test. Well, what do you mean, Tom? How does it do when you try to shoot through a windshield? Well, why would I need to do that? Guys try and run over you. Oh, yeah, that. What if you needed to shoot through something to get to someone? Denim, of course, heavy jackets, of course. There could be, and I say this cautiously, there could be a situation where you need to shoot through sheetrock to shoot the bad guy. If you knew exactly what was going on, knew who was back there, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Lots of ifs. I would say if you're interested in this, get a box, go out and shoot it. Shoot it through water, then put a sheet of 1/8 or 1/4 inch plywood in front of it and shoot it through there and see what it does. It's so easy for handgun bullets to fail. All handgun ammo is deficient. It's not enough. It's not good. It's marginal at best when you're trying to save your life. Yeah. You can get one-shot stops, but they're not common. I know a cop investigated a case where a guy got shot in the chest with a .44 Magnum. The guy who got shot in the chest with a .44 Magnum got up, walked out, got in his car, and drove 100 yards before he died. .44 Magnum. So I guess it's intriguing, and we all want to find the magic bullet. Here's a question for you. Why do we keep coming up with all these cool, interesting, different, strange handgun ammo bullet combinations? Well, because it's hard to get one that is really effective. And occasionally we do get stuff that is more effective. Way back, the Federal Hydroshock certainly was one of those. I think this Honey Badger thing may be something from Black Hills Ammunition. Haven't shot it yet, want to try it, but it looks interesting, and I trust the guys who are testing it. So that's not to say that this is not a good load. I'm just saying understand what you want your handgun bullet, defensive bullet to do. Not only does it need to go, get the right penetration, get the right tissue disruption, but it also may need to penetrate a car door. It may need to penetrate car glass. It may need to go through like a whole bunch of clothing. Will a 50-grain bullet do that? I honestly don't know. But until I did know, I wouldn't trust my life to it. In fact, I don't carry anything that I haven't shot. I'm not going to carry anything to trust my life on if I don't know how it works. 866-TALK-GUN. This is Gun Talk.